Shalom. First off, I would like to give all honor, all glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone GMS that rule well, that labor in order to give this truth, wisdom, and knowledge according to the Holy Bible. Peace and salutations be unto the Lord's chosen elect, beginning with the 144,000 out of each tribe of the house of Israel, and to all you brothers that preach the truth in sincerity and with charity. To you, I say shalom, and may the Lord have mercy on you in these trying times. I am the brother Halarian from the Great Millstone, Chicago camp, and this lesson is going to be going into, this nation being divided against itself under the rulership of these oppressive leaders. Because in these last days, in the days before the Lord is prophesied to come back, these leaders, the governors and the presidents and the politicians, they are showing that they do not care about the welfare of their own citizens and their own people. Supplying all this aid to these other countries when millions of their own citizens are homeless out on the streets, man. So the Lord is really showing who these people really are through the laws and unrighteous decrees that they set forth, that these people are forced to follow. Because a couple of days ago, Joe Biden, the president, was asked about, Americans dealing with inflation and paying, high prices on grocery bills, the mortgage. And Joe Biden basically responded by saying that Americans are not struggling at all, and they have all the money to spend, but they just don't want to spend it. But when you go on social media and see all these people crying about having to work 4 or 5 jobs just to be able to make ends meet, you really see the reality of the situation. And the fact that these people are suffering under the rulership of the people that they're supposed to look up to. And the people that they look up to do not have their best interests at heart. So I'm going to let this video play, and Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying to the elect and to the body.
And Tupac said it best. We got money for war, but not money for the homeless. The U.S. House just approved $60.8 billion in aid for Ukraine and $26.4 billion for Israel and $8 billion for Taiwan. Meanwhile, California is fucked up pretty bad because out of every 10,000 residents, 43% of are homeless. Now, where was this fucking energy when Hawaii and Puerto Rico caught on fire? But instead, y'all tried to get us to make donations. And Flint, Michigan still got doo-doo water. Man, hell no. We gotta get Sleepy Joe ass the fuck up out of there. This some bitch making calls while he sleepwalking. I know you tired, Joe, but you can do it. Send that money back, please. Because right now, you showing us the strength of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. This is really...
So people are really, suffering out here. Like you said, in California, in the state of California, out of every 10,000 citizens, 43 to 50% of them are homeless. So you have to ask yourself this question: why aren't American politicians doing something about this, man? Why are they just sitting back and letting this happen while sending billions of dollars to other countries while America itself is $34 trillion in debt, man? One dude said that America has to basically stacks up $1 trillion in debt every 90 minutes or something along those lines. So you have to really ask yourself these questions. But I'm going to go to the book of Mark, chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 23, and I'll read this in the NLT. Yahweh Shai called them over and responded with the illustration, which is the parable, and said unto them, how can Satan cast out Satan? He asked. A kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. And America is the perfect description of a kingdom that is divided by civil war because people are fighting amongst themselves. You have the rich against the poor, the Democrat versus the Republican and the conservative, man. Even the governor was fighting against the FBI when those not the FBI, but the government when the immigrants were crossing the border. So this America is a kingdom divided by civil war. Verse 25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself, against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but hath an end. So this right here, these are all signs that a country is about to collapse. All arguing, disputes, strife, People fighting amongst themselves, arguing. You got this side against this side. Democrats and Republicans, man. All these things are signs that a country is about to collapse. So I'm going to go to the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15. Salakia. Matter of fact, I start at verse 14, and it says, "Woe unto the world and to them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard the kings nor princes, and all the courses of their actions shall stand in their power." And why are people not going to regard the kings nor princes and their presidents, man? Because their kings and their princes are too busy sending money and aid to other countries while ignoring the welfare of their own citizens. So since these Americans are realizing that they're constantly being cheated out of their wages, they're going to go into full crash out mode, and they're going to take out their anger upon other people. And it's all going to lead into World War III. Verse 17, "A man shall desire to go into another city and shall not be able to." So that means that the cities are going to be blocked off. You know, just like how it was back in 2020 when the pandemic happened. You know, certain places were locked down. But in this year, it's going to get a lot worse. And eventually people won't be able to go into another city and see loved ones. Verse 18, "For because of the pride, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of a lack of bread and for great tribulation." And we all see that playing out in America every day. You know, just look at New York, for example. You had a video of these young dudes that walked up on I believe it was a 60, 70-year-old woman and knocked her out, man, and ran her pockets and stole all her belongings, her money, her purse. And then they hopped inside of her truck that she was putting all her groceries into and drove off. So people are about to go into full crash out mode, man. You know, people are really about to go into purge mode, and they're going to be robbing each other. All forms of crime are going to go up on the highest level because people are going to have a lack of bread and great tribulation. Now let's go to the book of Proverbs. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. "When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice." So when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, man. You know, they get treated fairly. They get the correct wages in order to feed their family. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So when the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, which indicates that the wicked are in rulership. Because going back to Job 9:24, this is Job chapter 9 and verse 24. "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the face of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" So the Lord has given the earth into the hands of the wicked so that the earth can see what it's like when the wicked rules the earth. Because there has to be a correct balance. In order to know the good, you have to know the evil. That's why in the book of Job, when his wife told him to curse the Lord, Job said, "Shall we receive good at the hands of the Lord, but not receive evil?" So the Lord deals with balance, man. And the Lord has allowed the wicked to rule in order to show the earth how not to conduct themselves. I'm going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 94 and Slacky. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth the mischief by law?" Right, these people frame mischief by law. All these laws that they put into place to oppress the people, but they don't even have the same energy when these other countries are in trouble. I read this in the NLT, and it says, "Can unjust leaders that claim that God is on their side, leaders who..." Slacky, let me read this over again. "Can unjust leaders claim that God is on their side, leaders whose decrees permit injustice?" These are all laws of injustice, and these people are crying out because they're being ruled by a world full of injustices, man, and oppression because of these oppressive rulers. I'm going to go to the book of James. Book of James, chapter 5 and verse 1. And I read this in the NLT, and it says, "Look here, you rich people, weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Your wealth is rotting away, and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver had become worthless. The wealth you were counting on will eat away at you. So like it will eat away at your flesh like fire. This treasure that you have accumulated will stand as evidence against you on the day of judgment. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers whom you have cheated out of their pay. The wages you have held back cry out against you. The cries of those who harvest your fields have reached the ears of the Lord of heaven's army. You spent your years on earth in luxury, satisfying your every desire. You have fattened yourselves for the day of slaughter. So these rich people, man, these presidents and politicians, they've gotten billions of dollars and have gotten rich off the backs of these oppressed field workers, man. And they are constantly cheating the people out of their wages. These are the ways of the wicked, because the wicked are in rulership over the earth. Now I'm going to go to this other video by this lady, and Lord willing, this will be edifying.
Talk about your cold day in hell. I never thought I would see the day when a U.S. Senator, John Fetterman, opens the door to his office waving an Israeli flag, then promptly slams that same door in the face of a 17-year veteran of the United States of America. Have you no shame?
No, they don't have shame, man. And you got to think about that, man. These people don't even care about their own veterans, man. The people that fought and died for this country and lost life and limb and got PTSD, got limbs blown off. They don't even care about the veterans. So this right here is proof that the wicked is in rulership, man. But they're making the laws to protect, a certain group of people who I won't name. She just named them in the video. And a law is being put in place to where if you even speak about these people, you will be labeled as an anti-you-know-what. So I'm going to go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, otherwise known as Sirach, chapter 26. And let's go to verse 28. It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, and the third making me angry. A man of war who suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such as ones for the sword. So the Lord said that some that Salakia. The Lord said that one thing that makes his heart to be angry is a man of war that suffers poverty. And you have millions of homeless veterans on the streets of America. And the fact that these politicians are not making more laws to even, care about their own veterans, but are sending all this money and all this aid to these other countries, is clear that these people do not care about their own citizens, man. They're only here to do the bidding and the law of the elites and bring in that new world order. Last scripture I'm going to get is in the book of Luke, chapter 16, and I'll go to verse 20. And it says, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus who was laid at the gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked the sores. So this right here is a parable about a beggar that wanted the scraps from the rich man's table, which represents the Israelites and Esau Edom, because Esau Edom is currently ruling this world. That's why all this wickedness is going across, because our enemy has dominion over us. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man died also and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and he seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in the water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. So I'm going to read this next part in the NLT. And it says, but Abraham said unto him, Son, remember that during your life you had everything you wanted, and Lazarus had nothing. So now he is here being comforted, and you are in anguish, man. So all these laws that these people are putting in place is going to eventually come upon them. Because the Lord said, he that leadeth in the captivity shall go into captivity. So he that leadeth in the poverty shall also be in poverty. And that's exactly what's going to happen to all these oppressive leaders that oppress the poor, righteous man. But just a little short lesson I wanted to do, and with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone, Master Rule well, Shalom, and Abba Babal.